American Negro Folktales. That's something to check out. According to this, American Negro Folktales go back to the 1700s. Anansi is part of the Americas Negro Folktales, and it's all over the Americas, Anansi. Brother Rabbit or Brother Rabbit, Uncle Remus. Look these up, man. As I recite them, just you on a Google, man, or whatever computer. When I was doing this stuff, I had to wait till the library opened, go up to the library, either walk or catch a bus to the library, go in, find whatever I'm looking for in the Dewey Decimal System. Wasn't no Google. In the Dewey Decimal System, find what I'm looking for, read it. Maybe I can copy it later. They brought in copiers, but at that time I had to either borrow the book or transcribe it by hand. So I'm just saying, if you take 10 or 15 seconds to Google it, that shouldn't really hurt you too much. So what's the rest of this? American Negro Folktales. Uncle Remus. That other one, somebody wrote down Harriet Beecher Stowe, I forget the name of it, Uncle Tom's Cabin. She had read a lot of American Negro folktales. I mean, read her things and she'll tell you that herself. And she came up with the way to write this story here. She wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin. You should read that too, because people be talking about Uncle Tom, and Uncle Tom was the hero of the story. He helped the people that needed help, to get whatever the thing. He was like a hero of the story. So you should read it yourself, and read all them books yourself, man. Don't be dependent on what somebody tell you. They pick out a phrase or something like that and then tell you that phrase. No, read the whole book yourself, from cover to cover, from the outside of the front to the outside of the back. The copyright date, the forward, the retreat, whatever they put on the back. Read everything, the conclusion, the titles, the content page. I said the preface. They put preface and forward in books. You might find it under either one. And read all that stuff, man. So you'll know what you're reading, at least have a concept of one book. Don't read 20 books and don't read the full book. There's 20 useless things. Read at least one full book. Then read another one, whatever. American Negro Folktales. I'll recite the ones I can remember right now offhand. Starting with Anansi. Why? Because Anansi is everywhere by that name. There's some other names for Anansi I've seen in different places. They speak different languages. But even then, they still use Anansi most of the time, that terminology. I found here Bokomo. There's another character here that's in the Caribbean. There are characters that were added to the folklore, part of their folklore of that particular region of the Caribbean. And these go back before all that 18 English stuff. Come around talking about slavery and whatever they were talking about. I don't know. But before them, we had American Negro folklore and folktales that go hundreds of years back. So I suggest, read them, see what they are. They still Googleable. That's my word too, Googleable. So write it down, put my name on it, let everybody know that's my word, Googleable. I'm copywriting it right now, Googleable. Talk to you later. Next year, wouldn't it be the top word or some stuff like that? That's my word. Copyright now. And I want all y'all to stand as witnesses to my copyright and my copyright date on that word, Googleable. So now let's go on. What's the next thing? American Negro Folktale. Most of the time they were stories about animals. Even Uncle Remus was dealing with the animals. It's mostly about animals, so you don't get caught up in the personalization of things, of attitudes. That you see a person, and then everyone does. We affix the image that we see to that attitude, and so by us using animals, you don't affix the attitude to an image, because it's not affixed to an image. It's that the attitude is affixed to a certain characteristic, not images and things like that, but characteristics of the character, not characteristics of the face and all that body stuff. So we use animals to tell stories. You'll find that all over the world, though. Our people use animals to tell stories. So Anansi was about usually different animals. Anansi would run into this or that. And in some stories, they pronounce Anansi. They give you the story, and if you don't know better, they give you the story like it's a person. But everybody still knows it's a spider. Even though the story runs just like a dude and did this and that and the other and whatever, because that's the moral of the story, is to say, we are talking about people, but we're not categorizing people with images. We're allowing the children, mostly children, we're given folklore, and so they can know it and know the history of their people and the attitudes and constituencies. Okay, let's go to another one. The parables and stuff from their own people, and know the consciousness of their own people and carry it forward. We don't really have what people call history. We have consciousness travel. They say history, but you notice it's hard to find what you call history on us, because we don't have that much. We have consciousness travel. We don't need history. We have shaman and stuff. We do divination and stuff like that. What we going to do with a historical account, which is usually a lie. Most history is a lie anyway. Most written history is a lie, straight up. I don't even need to bother with that anymore. They just agree on the lie and keep it moving until they need to change it and, create another lie. That's why I'm telling you about American Negro folklore, because so far this has not been attacked. It's been obscured. It means set to the side in the back room or something like that, but it hasn't been destroyed. You can find a lot of information and a lot of culture, because, I'm into the cultural thing. So I'm not into this historical, because I noticed everybody jump from, they jump around thousands of years when they be doing that. Why they can't just go 1 year at a time? Because, it's all crap. So, but consciousness is in the culture. The awareness of what we are, what we are doing, where we've been, and all that kind of stuff is in the culture. And in the culture, American Negro folklore, you can find folklore in Haiti, all them different places, man. Don't start picking them out like they different. All of them are actually the same people in different locations, coming up with a few slightly different stories. The stories are slightly different because of their situation and where they're at. Maybe they don't have bananas where they are. They got something else, you get me? So but do find it. Look into that. That'll open your mind to so much about what's really going on right this minute, because our consciousness understands that what happened is happening. I'll say that again. Our consciousness understands that what happened is happening. What happened is happening and will happen. Yes. What we have to do, all we need to do is get in sync with what's happening. What you see on a social level is what you think is really happening. That ain't what's happening. That what's happening is on a natural level, and that is what happened, and what is still happening, and what will happen. Nature. But you're looking at a society and all these interwovens about who this and who was that. That's all emotions and who attitudes and stuff like that, and narratives and lies. You can look at that if you want. I mean, if you waste your time, I call it a waste of time. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe go look at it. Spend, what you got, 40, 50 years? Go spend 40, 50 years looking at that garbage. I mean, that stuff. American Negro folklore, American Negro folk tales. This you should look into. And Googleable. Keep that in mind, because you're a witness. I will call you to task.